I'm just getting us adjusted here. I put a mint in my mouth so that I'm not clearing my throat the whole time for you all. We'll give everybody a minute to jump on this Sunday morning. I see a few people. Our Sunday mornings are typically pretty laid back. We tend to go to church as a family on Saturday nights. My kids love that because then on Sunday they can sleep in. So Saturday nights we typically go to church and then go to dinner together. And then Sundays are more for relaxing. We usually make brunch, some sort of, eggs and pancakes or French toast. And then it's usually for my husband, football or college basketball or, whatever is on that day. And then we just kind of reset for our week ahead. And this is a big week ahead. Hi, Amy. This is a big week ahead because of Valentine's Day. So we have a lot going on for the girls. Even Lauren, my oldest, who's in high school, they do singing Valentines because she's in the choir. So we've just got a lot of extras coming up this week. And then it's thankfully a 3-day weekend, which will be wonderful. But they're already saying for Colorado that it's looking like snow again next weekend. So we tend to get in this pattern where we have a storm every 7 days. Last year, it was always Wednesdays. Whenever we would have snow days, always Wednesday. This year, it's always Saturdays, which is kind of a bummer. So it's looking like next weekend, snow again. But that's more crafty time, right? More time to be able to work and just, cuddle up and watch movies. Carol, Ann, good morning. Glad you're joining us. Try to straighten this just a bit. Okay, so today we are going to be making our book. If you joined me the other night, you should have your pile right here, D, that is pre-cut and ready to go. If you don't have these ready for class today, you will just have to take time later and use the cutting guide or watch the video from Friday night, and then you'll have everything cut and prepped for layouts and for this book, okay? I will show you that this is a very chunky book. Got a nice spine here. We're going to have our regular pages, and then we have our fold-out pages. And then we've added a couple more pockets. Whoops, my little journal piece fell out. Oh, yay, hi Tisha, hi Tracy. We've got a couple more fold-outs here for August and September. October, November, December, and then we have our final page and our back cover. So I would love to hear your ideas if you've thought about what you're going to use this book for. I had said initially that I might use it as my reading log of books that I read this year, but for January, they're all 4th grade books because of Battle of the Books, but I like it how people have been printing the covers of the books and then, writing a little synopsis. So that might be what I use it for. You could also just use it for favorite photos from the year. A long time ago, this is probably horrible to admit, but we used to dress our cat up every month, like just a little extra, like American Girl or Barbie little accessory on her. And then we would make a calendar. So I was thinking like it would be very cute to do your pet every month, as like a winter theme and a love theme. But you could also do that with your kids or your husband or family members. Oh, there should be one in the files. Let me see. Let me pull it up really quick, Tracy, and make sure it's in there, and I'll tell you what it's called. It could very well be that I forgot to post it, but it is done. So let me see, go to files. Okay, I just tagged everyone on that file. It's called Noteworthy Folio Project with Lindsay, and it's a PDF. If it doesn't work, please let me know, but I did upload that the other day. I thought I did. I knew I had it finished, but I thought that I had put it up there. Okay, now we can go back to our main screen, and it drives me crazy when it's crooked. Give me a second. Let me know if you found that, Tracy, okay? All right, so for the folios, I'm going to be honest. A lot of the folios when they first came out from Photoplay were very intimidating. The instructions were overwhelming, they were tedious, it would take 3 hours just to build the folio and then you don't even have it decorated. And I had even done it in classes with people from Photoplay and we struggled. So I was very nervous to attempt this one. But it was surprisingly easy, not easy, but medium, I would say. I was not pulling my hair out or crying. I will be honest, I folded every single piece the wrong way and then fixed them all and it still ended up just fine. So we're gonna go through this together. If you get frustrated or you're just tired and it's just not happening today, there is also a YouTube video that Photoplay puts out for every folio and I believe every card, like the waterfall cards that we gave out earlier. So you can follow that along and be able to pause it. That might also be helpful. We have tried so hard this weekend to make sure we've had closed captioning for all of our classes and lives, and it's working maybe half the time. And I have stayed up late both nights trying to figure it out, and all I can figure is that it's a glitch with Facebook. Sometimes captions are showing up, sometimes not, but if you watch the YouTube video, I know YouTube, the captions will work. So we learned something with every event, and now we know for next time that closed captions are important for people and that we might have to do all of our classes through a third-party app, similar to how Andrea and Tracy did theirs. We just didn't know ahead of time, and now you learn. So I appreciate your patience and I apologize. We've tried so hard to make it work. Okay, awesome. Christy has it, Tracy has it, great. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and open this up. There are a couple pieces that I chose not to use. If you decide that you want them, then by all means, go for it. Okay, so your instructions are here. You've got this piece, and then you've got this folded over piece. I have my instructions from when I first built it, and I highlighted a few things, probably where I folded everything wrong. So I'm gonna keep those right here, and we will work through it together. Get these out of the way. The link for YouTube, I believe, is in the document. It's in the PDF, and you can click on it in there. I can also post it later on, but if you just go in YouTube and search Photoplay Folio 7, it comes up. And they also have, like I said, pretty much every other folio or maker. It's this maker series that they usually release, maker series. They usually release about one a month of their maker series, either cards or folios. There's explosion boxes, all sorts of interactive things. And it's just simplified it for us as crafters to not have to build it if we don't have that kind of time. So look at their YouTube, and that usually it's one of their designers who takes you through it, and then you can pause and go back and forth, okay? All right. For our first piece to set aside, we need to find the cover. The piece that's on top in mine, this is this giant fold out. We don't use this until step 3, okay? So this big one that has like 4 panels on it, this is step 3. I'm going to move it over here for now. I am looking for my spine. Okay, the spine has all of these folds here, and then it's got the 2 panels, one on either side. Okay, so everybody find that piece. This is your exterior cover where basically all of the book gets attached to. So we're going to put it, we call these mountains and valleys, right? It's just hard to see because it's white. So these are our bumpy, you can feel it with your finger, bumpy mountains. That's the side we want facing up, are the bumpy mountains, okay? And then we have our left side already folded in mine. Hopefully it is in yours. And then we're going to fold up the far right side. And then when it's done, it should look like your cover. With a very large spine in the middle. Okay, and then in your instructions, there is a giant, oh, not giant, but pretty good sized stop sign that says, do not add adhesive to this piece, okay? So we have that ready to go. All right, that is our cover. I've got room here, I'm gonna stand it up on my desk so then it doesn't get lost flat. Okay, so it looks like that. And I'm gonna move it off camera for now so that I can keep going. All right, now we're going to do our 2 pieces that they should be exactly the same. They are 3 panels and both of mine are folded up. Okay, so that is our next one. Same thing, we've got the bumpy, the mountains up. Okay, so I've got the bumpy mountains up on this side. This was the first place where I messed up the folds when I did it the first time, and it still worked. So what they're asking you to do is fold up. So we have it bumpy side up right here. And we're gonna fold up on the score lines. And I am using my ruler just because it's longer to be able to see. So I've got my left and my right, and then there's actually one more score line there. Okay. Gonna turn it this. All right, so there I have the left folded up and it kind of makes another little book. And then I have my right side. All right, we're gonna do that again with the other piece. Then I'm going to show you in my completed booklet what we're doing because I feel like it makes more sense when you see it in a completed project. If you see in my booklet all of these smaller spines, that's where we end up adhering it to the inner part of the book, okay? And what we're making right now are actually our fold outs that we're going, oh, sorry, that's the big one. We set that one aside, that giant piece. So this is our fold outs that we're doing for the January page and then all the way back here for the December page, okay? Lori, can you explain? You only have 2 pages? You should just have 2 of this one right now, okay? And then the third one is the giant one that we set aside. It's folded in half. This is the giant one. That will be the third fold out. But right now we just have 2 of these interiors that we've folded. Okay, I'll wait until she responds on that one. All right. This was where I didn't do this the first time. I just have one here. Okay, we've got it laying flat. We're gonna turn it over and put adhesive on this panel that has the like double line, okay? So we folded it up, the double line's on the left over here. We're gonna turn it over. Okay, good, thank you, Lori. Thank you for saying that. All right, I've got my score tape here. I almost need like a crayon. I hope you can see this okay. I'm sorry, it's hard when we've got so much white and it's hard to see the fold lines on my camera here. I'm even having, my eyes are tired, so I'm having a hard time. Okay, so we're doing adhesive basically around the frame. I'm going to do it on this little skinny spine first. And you want to make sure you go edge to edge because this book is hopefully going to get a lot of love with all of the flippies. Okay, so I've got the spine here. Oh, thanks, Andrea. Oh, I like that, Tracy. That's very good. She said she's going to use it for her embroidery and cross stitch for the year. Okay, so what I'm doing now with my tape, I'm just making a frame of tape all around the outside edge. Oh, sorry, this is we've got two that are the same. So this is that piece that we just folded. It's kind of like our butterfly, I guess, with the two wings here. And then it has this double line here, this double fold that we did. And all we did was flip it over, put one piece on the spine, and then now I'm building the frame of adhesive. And we're gonna do this twice. Okay. So it should look like this. You can see that that's my spine with the piece on it. And now I'm going to do it again because we have the identical piece that we folded up, and then we're going to turn it over and do the same thing. I'm going to start with the spine. Okay, and then I'm going to make that frame again. Okay. We're basically just getting all of the backbone of the album ready to go. Once we have it assembled today, if your papers are pre-cut, it will go pretty quickly. And then you have a lot of extra pieces plus the chipboard to be able to decorate with. And I think sometimes when I'm designing, I get sick of a collection and I'm ready to just move on, but I'm not sick of Noteworthy yet. And I've had a lot of fun playing with it. And I started this weekend sorting True Colors. I'm excited to make kits and play with that one too. Okay. Let me know if everyone's got their tape on there. I don't want to move on yet until I know that most of you are in the same spot. Andrea, I love True Colors. I don't know, it's just so happy. And I've been a little paralyzed as I've separated it this weekend, because I'm like, I don't want to cut it. It's so pretty, but yet I know, we have to cut it. There's always more pretty paper, right? That's what I tell people. Don't save the paper for a rainy day. There's always going to be more and better, right? That keeps coming out. We've seen that over the years. So get the pretty paper and use it. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. Okay, don't move on. All right. Okay, a couple people say they're ready. All right. I can talk, no worries. You're probably sick of hearing me discuss things by now. So we mentioned this yesterday, that a lot of us have an obsession also with Doodlebug. And that's one that I find that I tend to hoard pieces. Obviously I love the pins, the paper, super cute, all those. The odds and ends are amazing, although it's way too many in a pack. So when we get the odds and ends, we open up all the packages, we sort them all, and then I design, and then we repackage them all. And I think Tracy does the same thing with artsy albums. Sometimes it is just too many pieces. Like we see the number and they're like, look, 130 this time. And we just groan because it is just too much. Okay, Anne's good. All right. Okay, so I'll put a pin in that, come back to my Doodlebug discussion in just a minute. All right, so these are our first two interior pieces. Now we're going to I'm gonna move these aside. We need that giant piece that is folded up. Okay, and we want, run your finger or your thumb over it, we want the bumpy side up. We're going to fold up towards you. And then I'll show you in the booklet, this is that giant fold out. You can kind of tell from how we're building it. And then this skinny double line in the middle, that is our spine. Okay, so when you're all done with that one, you should have done 1, 2, 3, 4 folds up towards you. Christy, did you mean to say doodle poo or doodle pops? That's a whole other discussion. The doodle pops, oh my goodness. I tend to buy 2 of them so that one I can keep in a container and one I can actually use. The container I use, I picked up the tip from Tracy Penrod. It's one of the Totally Tiffany containers. I believe I have 4. And it just fits them perfectly. And so I've got them divided by, season, category, and yeah, it's a problem. Okay, so we have this all folded up. Again, this was one of my mistakes and it still turned out all right when I made it. We are going to turn it over. So I'm gonna flip it over. And then we're going to add adhesive right here to the spine. So you can see this spine it's holding a lot of weight with this giant fold out. Mine, I have been demoing with it. I've only had it built for a month, but it's holding together really well. So I think use the score tape or the red tape. We'll get it in there. Okay. That's the only adhesive right now on this piece. And then in the book, I'll show you, it ends up being the middle, May, June, that opens up like that. Okay, and you can see our spine right here that we will attach. Okay, this piece is now done. That's going to be our middle insert. Okay, you should be down to just a few pieces left. I did not use these. These are meant to be cut to make triangle pockets, and they already have the folds ready to go. I ended up making my own pockets in this folio just with the paper, so I didn't use these. You can totally use them, and it's in the guide all the way at the end. They show you how to trim it and how to make a corner pocket, okay? I did attempt to use these for the file folder pocket that I made, and I feel like it's too bulky. I did it here, and it's just, it really sticks off the page, and so today for our project, I'm choosing not to use it because I feel like it's just too much here, and I think we can do just fine by just making the pocket on our own with our adhesive, okay? Because we already have these pieces cut and ready to go. So, long story short, these pieces you can set aside, okay? It's 2 squares with all the scores on it, not using, you can put them on another project too. All right, whoops, sorry, flip my instructions. Okay. We need the hinge base. It's basically a almost 2 by 7 piece. And this is what we are going to start attaching things to, okay? So this, you can't really see it in my finished. It's in there, it's hidden, it's here. And what it does is it gives us an extra reinforcement when we attach this to the cover, okay? So this hinge base is going to be right here. We're going to attach our pages to it. Then the whole thing we will cover in tape and attach to our cover to keep it nice and stable. That's right, Shannon. Only special people get the Doodle Pops. My daughter Noelle loves them. She loves seeing all the cute, different, you know, all the different faces and designs, and yeah, they do such an amazing job. Okay, so we have got our hinge base, and now we need to go back to our first piece that we did. Right? This should be the one where this way, we made up the frame, and then I have the adhesive on the spine, okay? We have 2 of these. We're just using 1 right now. We are going to, let me make sure I've got on the right way. Fold the panel, right, remove. Yeah. We are only going to peel our spine, okay? This one, if we go, I had it upside down, sorry. This one on the far left, we're going to have this open out this way. So I'm going to put it to the furthest edge of our base here. Okay, and then we want our adhesive here. There, let me make sure that I don't want to tell you wrong as I'm doing it. Yeah, and so this is January. It's going to open up out to the left, okay? So depending on which way, we want one to open out this way, and then we want one to open out this way, okay? This one is the one that's going to go here. Okay, so you can kind of see in their picture that it ends up looking like this. I'm gonna peel this off. Tape facing left, attach. Thank you, Tracy. But I don't think I did that because Look at my fold. I was thinking that too as I was doing this, but my fold goes out to the left. And then we have the inner. So I think, and this could have been my left-handed brain, what I did was attach in the middle. Because we have our fold here. No, she's right. Thank you, Tracy, for being my right-hand person here today. So she's right, it is going to attach to the cover. So we need to get our adhesive. Oh goodness. It's not good when the teacher's having a brain fart as we do this. Okay. Let me make sure on my next step, because yeah, so I'm wondering if I did it wrong based on my sample, and now here I am telling you the wrong thing. All it will impact is the way that our folds go. So our folds would go that direction, right? Instead of our January fold would go out the other way, whereas here I had it like that. And it's probably because the first time I said I folded everything backwards. So let's stick it down. Only the spine. And then you're putting it to the left. Okay. And then that will attach to the cover. And what I'm gonna do is refold it. And guess what? Then it will work. Okay, so we have attached that one right there. Then we are going to do it again with our other piece. Trying to keep it standing so that you can see. So again, this is my tired brain. All I needed to do was just fold it the other way. And then now our flap is going to work, but we want this to attach to the cover, okay? This piece, our other spine, same piece we just used, okay? We want this piece facing to the right because we want this to attach to our other cover. So I am going to put my adhesive all the way to the right. Only peel the spine. And then I'm going to attach it right there. Okay. All right, so when you have both of them on there, it should look, excuse me, I have to grab my water. It should look more like this, with this gap in the middle. And that's where we're going to add that last big fold, okay? I'm gonna pause to make sure because I was confusing and I apologize. We want to make sure we have adhesive over here that's going to attach to our cover. Then we want adhesive over here that will attach to the other cover, okay? And we attach the spines into this base piece, this 2-inch piece. And then we can play with the folds in a little bit to make them right, okay? Want to make sure everybody's got that part. And then the next part will be We're gonna lay it down. And I'm gonna fix my folds. Okay. So now, remember we're making like our butterfly wings opening up here. I had my folds backwards. So maybe their instructions are backwards. If I did this twice and this time I did it right with the folding. Anyway, it's okay. We got this, it's okay. So now I've got the spines attached and then I've got this giant fold out. Okay, is everybody with me on that part? Yes. So when you have it like this tape part is to the left and it will attach to your cover. This tape part is to the right and it will attach to your cover. And you should have this big gap in the middle here. Okay, because that's where we're going to attach our final piece. So then when you open it, you have this opening like that. Okay. I just want to give everybody a minute because really once we have, excuse me, the final piece in place, it's going to go super fast because we're going to just be adding our paper and decorating or inking, you know, I like to ink. All right, does everybody have that? Yep. Yeah, the folds. I think that's what was confusing me and I'm tired at this point. So yes, the folds can be fixed. And these are the smaller pieces because when we were cutting the other night, everything we cut was either 5 by 7 or 4.75 by 7. And you can see that these are smaller, these inner panels. Okay, our last piece that goes in the middle . So if you're looking at the directions, they show you, like step 5 is showing you how it looks when it's like this, it's showing you the base. And then step 6 is showing you how you're folding it. I feel like there's extra things that make it confusing. We are going to add this giant one. This was our 4 panel. I'm gonna fold it up for right now so that I'm not dealing with all that excess. And then we're gonna peel this and it's gonna go in the middle right here of our hinge base, okay? So this was that giant 4 panel piece. If I've got it folded backwards, we'll fix it. We're gonna peel this spine and then we're gonna adhere it down here into the middle of our hinge base. Here, you lay down. And you lay down, there we go. And that helps a little bit. Okay, so I'm peeling this off. Yes, I do talk to my craft supplies. Okay, I'm peeling the spine off. And then I'm going to center it. Give it a good push here to make sure it's flattened out. Okay, so this was that giant fold out. I centered it onto my hinge base, okay? And then I've got the folds. So now it should look like this. We did insert 1 and insert 2 that were the same pieces. Your adhesive is ready to attach to your covers. And then you have this insert in the middle that opens up, okay? It's a giant, like accordion mess right now. Now we are ready for our cover, which I had it standing up just to set it aside. Okay, the cover has all of these score lines on it, and that's just to help it kind of give, basically, when you're pulling back and forth on your album and the interactive part of it. Okay, so what we're going to do now is adhere this side to the cover, this side to the cover. I think our natural instinct would be to glue here, but they had a stop sign right here. Do not add adhesive to this piece, okay? That's because we want it to be able to shift and move freely. So that is not, it's not attached. We're only attaching it by way of the left panel and the right panel, okay? So I'm gonna peel my tape off here. Is your hinge, let me see. Yes, mine is like a tiny bit at the top. Yeah. So if it ends up that your hinge base overhangs a little bit, number one, you could trim it off. Yeah, see, but mine doesn't show, Tracy, once I get it in there. It could be like manufacturer error, however they cut it. But mine does slightly here, but I mean, that's not even 1/4 of an inch. So if it bugs you, I would trim it off, but mine still fits great in the spine. Okay, I'm gonna peel off for the front cover to attach it to. Sometimes this is the most challenging part of the project, right? Is getting all the liners back off. And I go slow with this part, sticking it to the cover because this tape sticks so well. I mean, that's the point, we want it to. I'm gonna turn it a little bit so I can see. So I'm gonna lay this right, line it up. Okay, that's the tedious part. So I have lined up my left page here and attached it to the cover. Okay. I'm gonna do the same thing with the back cover. Liquid adhesive, yes. You could definitely do the liquid. I tend to be a score tape girl across the board, and maybe it's just because with the liquid adhesive, I tend to get messy and get it on my hands, which you would think as a preschool kindergarten teacher that I would have the glue part down, you know, from years of doing that, but I go with I lean towards the score tape or the red tape for the most part. Okay, this one's a lot easier to line up because you already have the first piece in place. Okay, that should be your book. Let me know where you're at. This was the most difficult part of the whole class. Now the rest is just fun, adding all the pieces. But we have the folio built and we did it in less than an hour, which was good. even with all of my babbling there in the middle about the pockets. So you should have your cover. You open it up, you've got this first page. The second page has the flip to the left. The inner part comes open. This set flips to the right. And then you have your last page and your back cover. If anything is excess hanging here or here, just trim it off. And then if you decide you want your folds a different way, go for it. I just did it because I was trying to do the months and make it kind of make sense. But if a different order makes more sense to you or a different way to fold and unfold, then go for it. Oh, okay, Tracy, I get it. You add it to your tape. Okay. Good tip. Thank you. Yeah, so then that would give it a little bit of wiggle room, and then you've got extra strength by having the liquid glue with the score tape. Okay, I'm kind of waiting to see where everyone, or waiting to read where everyone is at. While we're doing that, I'm gonna pull my pieces here so you can see the cover. Definitely need our chipboard. And then I have my D pile. So for the front cover, yay, good job, Judy. Okay. I'm just finding the pieces right now for my front cover. It was this grid notebook. There it is. Just gonna start setting them as I find them. And then I need this Snapshots of a Happy Life. And then Lori, awesome. So when I inked it, my master, I did aqua. And that's just me because it's my favorite. I love using aqua. You could also do pink. Otherwise, I would probably do brown. Just because, I mean, she does have hints of, I say she, Kelly, when she designed it, there are hints of black in it, but I feel like brown is more of the dominant color throughout. So, choices, I will do brown today. Okay, so I found the everyday one, the Snapshots of a Happy Life. I am also going to find our spine and the back, so that way we can get the whole cover done. Okay, so floral ends up on the back. Our camera card ends up on the back. Here is the spine. And then the only thing I'm missing is, okay. The only piece I'm flipping through right now is looking for that pink plaid. Okay, so the pink plaid, I'm not sure if we cut this one or not the other night. We cut a ton, and I kept all of my pieces all together. I dropped them all in my bin here, but now that I kind of peeled it back, the background of that with that pink one, it's the card that had the binders on it. So I'm just looking through my pile of extras here to see if I tossed it in here. Well, this will work. So I need the back of this one to go under where the camera is. Okay, I've got my pieces and I am going to ink. It looks like people are giving me thumbs up. Yay, good for you. This is hard on a Sunday morning after 3 solid days of crafting. I hope that you've enjoyed the variety of projects. I think that's what makes our event a little unique, is that it also makes it harder on us. But when I've talked to Andrea and Tracy and Erica, I always want to use a variety of brands and a variety of projects, because I feel like a lot of the events that I go to, you just use one collection the entire weekend, which is great, but it's also great to be exposed to different companies, or, you know, sometimes I do get stuck on just Doodlebug or just Simple Stories. So I feel like this weekend we had a nice variety. Simple Stories, Bella Boulevard, Doodlebug, American Crafts, and then we have the Chamel with American Crafts, and then the Life's a Party. I really wanted to include an Echo Park, but it just didn't fit. So next time, hopefully. But yeah, it does make it tougher on us just with all the ordering and coordinating of all the different brands, but I like being able to let all of you, you know, try different things, and I hope that the projects this weekend, you find useful and fun, and maybe you learned a little bit too. I know that one of the biggest pieces of feedback, Deborah, sorry. I am using, this is Amaretto, but really any of the browns would work. I used Tree Trunk or Mocha Mama. This was just sitting right here. So this one's Amaretto. I do still have ink available. We did it as the pre-sale. We're going to have the new 2024 bundle in our sale right after this class. And then finally, Quick Quotes got the 2 basic colors back in stock, which is Coal Miner and maybe it's Mocha Mama, but I've been waiting for 6 months at least. Those came in my box yesterday. So this one is looking a little well loved. You can see that I use my inkers to death. Anyway, so I hope that this weekend you've been able to enjoy the variety, and yeah, maybe even be exposed to a brand that you haven't used before. Okay, so for my cover, oh, Dusty Trail, I like that one too. Yeah, I feel like the browns and the blacks, especially for Quick Quotes, they keep going out of stock, and then it takes forever for them to restock it. So I knew at the beginning of the year they would restock just because they're focusing on the 2024 colors, and then they typically don't discontinue or retire the browns and blacks. They try to keep some of their basics, and the white has been really popular too, and so I restocked that, the white and the aqua. I think I probably used the aqua, the navy, and strawberry milkshake, I think. I love using color, so I think those are like my go-tos other than your basic black, gray, brown. All right, so I'm gonna adhere my cover. Again, you could do the liquid adhesive. Okay, so back to our Doodlebug discussion / obsession. I love their stuff. I tend to hoard the Doodle Pops, love the pins. I posted the picture of my pin display. And that's part of why I love doing bingo, because I love getting other people addicted to their pins. But a few years ago, pre-COVID, I got to go there to Doodlebug because they did events there. And Allison's even in our group, so she might hear this later and be like, Lindsay, stop. But wouldn't it be amazing if they had events again? I've even offered, like Erica and I have talked about this, and maybe Tracy can chime in too, but I've even offered, like, I'll go for free. I will be your store, like your host person and help you do classes or whatever. I'll go, and just because going there, I would compare it to like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. When he first goes in, the kids first go into that area where it's the chocolate waterfall and everything is edible. Like that to me was Doodlebug, going there, and it was just so fun. And I know it's a ton of work for them, but it's just one of the most amazing memories I have, and I'm so thankful. That year was my 40th birthday, so my friend Irene and I went, and it was the Christmas event, and they spoiled us, and we got to go in the warehouse, and it was just, and everything is decorated so cute. I mean, if you can picture all the adorable Doodlebug cuteness, but life size, they make the giant ones. And I know other companies do a great job with it too. Like 3 Craft Chicks does. What is that one in Utah? Mom and Me, Scrapbook. Like there are so many great businesses and companies that also do it, but going there, incredible. So if any of you feel that same way, like maybe we start like a campaign, like please let us come back. Okay, so I adhered these on my 2 cards. This 24 that I put at the top, I did it because I'm going to use it for this year. So I just cut off, this is a sticker, I cut off the bottom, and then just put it right here on my little notebook. This 365 is also a sticker, but I need to open my chipboard. Remember, #1 rule with the chipboard, add adhesive. It's so sad when you open your scrapbook years down the road and all the pieces have slipped off into the page protector. So sad. Okay, so I've got my flower that I'm going to use and the binder clip. Let me add some, I'm just gonna, oh, an Easter one, okay, good to know, Tracy. So if you ever convince them, Tracy, I will totally go and help and organize and do it, seriously, because it was amazing. And I would just like other people to feel the joy that I felt. Like it was just so great. But I understand they are juggling a lot, and with Bella too, and she loves color. Okay, I didn't know there was an Easter one. I knew there was Christmas and Halloween. I didn't know there was an Easter one though. The thing that when we went, which I thought was absolutely genius, the hardest part when you do an in-person event is coordinating like food. Food is so tough because of dietary needs, because of the cost and keeping it warm and just so much. So that one that we went to, they had food trucks pull up, and each of our groups had a time to go down to the food truck. And I thought it was genius, because then your food is actually prepared right there. You're supporting local businesses, and people can customize, according to their needs. Like if you need gluten-free, or you need, you're vegetarian. It was genius. So anyway, that leads me to my next thing. If you're going to any events this year, tell us where you're going. I really don't, I feel like in this industry, we're all here for the same reason. We're all here to keep our love of crafting going. So I don't really consider people as my competition. I feel like there's room for all of us at the table, and If you see me at events, please come introduce yourself and give me a hug. I am going to Simple Stories in September, and I am also going to She Loves Color in October, which is very exciting. And then I'm hoping, I don't know if Andrea's on still. Judy, you were there? Oh my goodness, I wonder what room you were in. Okay, yay, good. Some people are going to Simple Stories. Okay, so Simple Stories is September. Tracy Penrod and I were both there at the last one they did. Oh my goodness, did they spoil us? And I even had an empty suitcase and I still had to ship a box home. Like, oh my goodness, just amazing, amazing projects and just a lot of fun. I'm gonna switch and I'm gonna do the spine now because I have my cover done. Let me see if I can open it like this. So September is Simple Stories, October is She Loves Color, and then in November, I'm hoping to be a pop-up shop again, hint, hint, Andrea. Paige Evans she's doing a Halloween collection this year, and she is doing her event in Denver, and it's so fun. First of all, it's at an amazing hotel that Andrea has connections and got it all just wonderful. It's the Delta Hotel, right outside of Denver. And then, yeah, it's going to be a weekend now. It's in November. So you're like, Halloween's October. Yes. But now you'll have your Halloween photos and can, complete your projects. So I've only seen a few little peeks of her collection and I'm very excited. Plus I love a good theme. So being able to do a Halloween themed event, oh yeah, it's going to be great. I think she still has seats left. So yeah, those are the 3 that I have lined up. I'm also going to be with Erica and Andrea in May in Illinois for one of Erica's events. I'm there. Andrea and Erica are teaching and I'm kind of their guest, make and take type person. So yeah, if you're at any events, I would love to see you and give you a hug and meet you in person. I had several people come up to me at the Paige Evans event this past November and introduce themselves, and I was so grateful. Because it's just great to be able to make that connection. Yay! Okay, cool. Judy, Deborah. Yes, I just said May, Tracy. Thank you. And Christy was at the Doodlebug one too. I think they did 2. I feel like the Christmas one, it sold out so fast that they did 2 weekends back to back. And I don't remember which weekend we were, but it was amazing. They did such a good job. Okay, so I need for my spine, I need the chipboard Noteworthy. And then for the back cover, I need this Important stamper. Get this one out of here. Okay. Add a little tape to those. Oh, Deborah, that one is sold out. Yes, so last year, a group of us, Tracy and Tisha are on here. Irene might be on here too, and Janet. We all went to the one in Texas with Paige Evans that was at the Glamp Inn, right? Where it's in Round Top, Texas, and it's a giant warehouse that they've got full of campers and teepees, and you stay there and then you craft all weekend. And so that was when I went to Buc-ee's for the first time. So yeah, we crafted there and it was so fun. So Deborah, you're gonna have a great time. I don't think that one, they moved to like a bigger venue, and that one sold out fast. Or anything I feel like Vicki and Paige do it's just such quality work. I'm actually designing I'm a little behind, but I'm designing with Vicki's newest collection right now. I think I have 1 kit finished for our sale. I was trying to finish a second, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But I have just piles and piles of Better Christmas that I'm working on for kits, and also the Discover and Discover and Create, I think is what it is. Okay, so I'm putting my Noteworthy, I'm actually gonna push on it a little bit so that it stays on there. So I've got my front cover, the side. This would even be cute with enamel dots here just to give it a little accent, or you can end up putting a label, you know, if whatever it ends up being. And then my back cover. Okay, this one's at a hotel. Okay. Yeah, and that's with Cherie and is it, what is theirs? Crafty, I can't think of what it's called. I'm blanking. But they also do another crop in July. That's a charity event. And they had reached out to me to design some things for their event. And my response was, I don't really want to go to Texas in July, but I'll ship things. so we'll see. I don't have all the details yet, but that's still a long ways out. This every day is a sticker that I just pulled from right here. Okay, so I talked while I did this, but I did our cover. So at least, if you've gotten this far, at least your book is like up and ready to start being filled. So these, I keep looking at, I called this a stamper. When I taught preschool, I made sure that every child had a journal, and we would do journaling on Wednesdays, I think, because that was a day where we had music and other stuff. So we would do journaling. And then when you were done with your journal, and now a preschool journal is like a picture, sometimes they write one sentence, you know, it's very basic, but it just gets them in the habit of getting their thoughts out, you know, writing it down, and just gets them to start writing a little bit. But when you're done with your journal, I had a library date stamp. And so you got to go and you got to put it in the ink, and then you got to stamp your page. And some of my kiddos, that was what they lived for, and they'd stamp and stamp and stamp and put the date all over it. And that's what I think of every time I see these. And it was like the roller stamp, you know, that you could change the date, but oh, that brought them such joy. So Janelle, I think I missed it the other day when we did our prep. So I pulled my bin of pieces out, and it's actually this card that I just found here that we hadn't used. It was in my extras, and that's what I did. I think that we missed it. And I know I talked about it that night too, that I thought it was the other piece. It's not. So I pulled it from, all this was extra from the other day. So we don't use that card anywhere on a project. And so I just flipped it over and put it there. Maybe it's here somewhere and we cut it, but I've had so many different piles that I've had to quickly shift back and forth, and yeah, I haven't found it. Okay, I will leave this sitting just like this for a moment, and I'm going to start finding my January pieces. So actually here, I need the original. Let's put this one right here so you can see that. Okay, great, Janet. So it's this one. I ended up having to go back into my scraps from the other night, and we don't use this on any project. It's just an extra, and it has the pink plaid. You should have a few more cards that we didn't use that, you know, are intact, and then it's got the pink plaid on the back of it. But yeah, sorry about that. I had to pull it out of my scrap pile from when we were done cutting. Okay. Not January, inside cover is what we're gonna need. All right, so I'm just gonna look for my pieces, that way people can finish up their covers, front and back. So I'm looking for the words, but it's the smaller type. You can tell what's the paper pad, just because the print is the design is much smaller. Okay, so I've got, this is the story and my composition. Two smaller pink pieces. You can tell that that plaid is a smaller print. And then I have the typed, the words paper. Okay, and then I will need the chipboard flower. Just get that one ready. And then I think all these are stickers. Yep, everything else is a sticker. Okay, so I'm going to ink while I do this. Has anyone done the scrapbook cruises? I feel like that's making a really big comeback, and that was huge years and years ago. And then, of course, COVID then kind of put a stop on things. But I mean, even before that, it was really, really big, like 10 years ago. But I feel like the cruising is becoming kind of a thing again, you know, that I know Vicki Booten does it. Paula and Kelly, who are in our group now, they are doing a cruise. Paige is doing a cruise. I feel like that's becoming a popular thing to do. And my family, I had asked them, I'm like, let's do a scrapbook cruise. And my girl's like, we don't want to be on a boat with just scrapbookers. I'm like, okay, it's a block of women. And you don't scrapbook the whole time. I think you only do it on sea days. All right, getting these inked. And then I'm going to add my tape. And then just for reference, I put the white photo mats here just to kind of give you an idea of what would fit. You don't have the white cardstock in your packet because the white cardstock that you did get was meant for the layouts. And again, it's just a suggestion, you know, depending on what you use the book for. I was just showing you what I felt would fit on each page. But it is nice to be able to have an intro photo to kind of set up the book. Or maybe you want it to be a full description, especially if you're using it, like if I use it for my books for the year, or like Tracy was saying, to document her embroidery projects. You know, maybe this first page is where you write about why you're doing it, or why you're documenting what you are, or why you love it, or your goals for the year too. Because I set my reading goals each year. They are very low. I used to read so much, and now I sometimes will read in the car, in the pickup line at school, and otherwise I read at night to just try to calm my brain down. But then a lot of times the next night I have to reread, right? Because you fall asleep. Ooh, a quilting cruise. How do you do that? Like, are you hand quilting, or do you need machines? Like, would they have machines on the ship? Okay, I need to know more about that. And then Tracy's doing Crafty Me at Sea with Paula and Kelly. Oh, that'll be so fun. I finally got to meet them in person at the Page event in November, and they're too fun. All right, get my pieces here. And I'm doing the thicker or the stronger adhesive rather than my runner, just because, again, this book is going to be well loved and handled, so I would like it to stay together, hold up. My kids love it when I come home from an event and give them a mini book. I've tried to do it for each one. Like for Maddie, with one of them, we did a We did one about the guinea pigs, of course, and then Noelle last year when we did the page event with, I think it was a garden shop. I brought her a book of her birthday party, and they love it. They like being able to see, and I feel like we know the value of a printed photo, right? But so many people now, they just don't do it. They don't print it. And my cousin, her little guy is going to be 1 in March, and I sent her a baby album ready to go. She just needed to put the pictures in, and I printed a few just to get her started, just ones that she had texted me over time, and she was like, I haven't printed a single photo this year, but I've taken thousands. I'm like, well, this is your excuse to get some printed so that he has a record of his life, like who knows what the technology will be someday. And I think that's why what we do is so valuable. Okay, we take our machines and we pick a quilt. Okay, and you get the top done. Okay. I am not a quilter, but I have so much love and respect for quilters. It is an amazing, amazing art. All right. I'm making sure, yep, they're both the same size. So I'm gonna start adhering these pieces into my book. Okay, and there might be a little bit of overlap on the paper depending on how much margin you wanna leave, how much white around the edge. I was just making sure they were pretty close to the same size, and they are. Now, so my husband and I have gone on cruises, but we've never taken the kids. We've done 3 Disney cruises together, and yeah, we've never taken the kids. One was our honeymoon, and then the second one I think was like our 5-year anniversary. So we didn't have kids yet, to be fair. We're not just mean people. But then the third one, we went on our own without the kids. But and people have said, like, why would you go do a Disney cruise without the kids? Is it? And like, there's so much just for adults, because there's an adults only pool and there are adults only lounges, and we would get the later dinner seating. So we really kind of avoided kids for the most part. And then on the private island, they have an adults only beach. So yeah, I mean, it was great. But now we could never get away with that. Our kids would be so mad. Okay, got those pieces on. Oh, I love that, Shannon. I love it. When my nephew comes to visit, my sister lives in California, and when they come visit, he likes to look at his album that I make of him. And honestly, I do it for selfish reasons also, because I have 3 girls and I need boy photos when I'm doing boy kits and projects. So luckily I have my sweet nephew. But yeah, he loves seeing the projects, the book of him. So that's just an amazing, amazing gift. Yes, Michelle, I love Disney cruises. Yeah. I think I had talked about this before, but my bucket list, I want to do an Alaskan cruise. And nobody in my family is on board. Like, no one, like, why would we want to do that? We don't want to go somewhere cold. It's cold all the time. But that's one of my bucket list things that, for my ABC album, that, and I want to do, I've been to hot air balloon festivals, but I would like to go on a hot air balloon ride. That's another bucket list. And then my other one is, I want to see Amy Grant in concert, but her Christmas concert. And she only does it in Nashville. And so that's a total bucket list. And that's more of when my kids are grown, because, oh man, December is nuts in our household. So that's a someday thing, to be able to go to Nashville at Christmas. and see her. Oh, Janelle, and congratulations on your wedding anniversary. That's amazing. So how long of a cruise is it? Because I have heard, we have a friend that was going on one, and I think theirs was like a 14-day cruise. And you got on, I feel like you got on the ship maybe in the US, but then you're off the ship in Canada. All right, and then I'm just gonna add my, okay, Michelle. Okay, land first, and then we meet up. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that one, Michelle. Like, Disney World can be overwhelming with kids. And I feel like the cruise, they're contained, they're entertained, you know, it's just great. It was like on our radar to do around 2020, and then, you know, life changed for everybody. We're still feeling the effects of it. Okay, so I've got my flower, and then I'm gonna add the phone right there. And then on this side, I don't think I'm gonna add anything yet, but just for my original design, I have the vase with the flowers in it. And then I did the little tab that said days like these, just to accent. And I did pop up the vase. I popped up very few things in this book, which is very tough for me, but I felt like it's already a pretty chunky book, and I was trying not to I don't like it when my albums kind of bow out, and so I was trying to keep it straight like that. Like the album that Tracy used this weekend, those snap albums, or the flip books, sometimes I fill those up and I feel like they're like an open alligator mouth, right? And so then you have to build up the spine with fun foam and even it out, because that drives me crazy. That's just a personal thing. Oh, wow. Yeah, this is great. Got all these people who've done Alaskan. That's great. Yeah, I feel like you would need 7 days. You know, like we've done, like there's even a Disney one where it's 2 days, where it's like San Diego, like you just go out in the water and then come right back in. And we had thought about, when our kids were little, that would be a really good one to try at first, just to make sure everybody was okay, could do it, you know, and it really didn't go anywhere. But yeah, I feel like 7 days, you really get to take advantage of the ship and the excursions and just get to see things. Oh, sorry, so yours is 5 days on the cruise. Okay. Yeah, great. That'll be so fun. Okay, so I have we've got our cover done, and then I've done our first set of pages. I'm going to start looking for the pieces. I hope everybody's hanging in there, doing okay. I'm gonna find January and February. And we'll just keep going along and see how far we get. All right, let me find my pile. The sun is out today, which is great. The snow is melting, also great. But we're down in the basement, so it's hard to see. I do have one window down here, but when I looked out this morning, so a lot of times, if you've never been to Colorado, most of the time, they rely on the sun to take care of things. So growing up and learning to drive in the Midwest, we rely on salt to take care of things, which is not great for your car or your garage, but it gets the job done. Whereas here, once the sun does come out, it melts things pretty quickly. But that doesn't always work like in November or December, when we had like very, very significant wind chills below zero. So I'm always hopeful that at least after a snowstorm, maybe the next day the sun's out, so it will melt it, because here we're so much closer to the sun. They say that even though the thermometer might say 20 degrees, in the sunlight, it can be up to 15 degrees more than that, just because we're up higher, or in the altitude and the elevation. But it took a while to get used to, because like they don't plow our neighborhood, they don't plow side streets unless you get 12 inches. And that's a lot. Like, especially when I had a minivan before, I traded it in this past September, but I would get stuck all the time because the snow was too deep in the neighborhoods, and then it would get packed down. And it was even like for the poor bus drivers, even around the school, if it wasn't a main road, they don't plow it unless we get a foot. And that, I understand, like because we have the sun and we're trying to rely on that as natural energy, but sometimes you get like 6 inches, and then a couple days later you get 6 inches more, and then a couple days later you get 6 inches more. And rather than keep melting, it all just kind of compacts and freezes together. And yeah, that's why I had to keep a shovel in the back of my van to make sure that I wouldn't get stuck. So I had to trade it in and get a larger SUV with 4-wheel drive that I can get my kids to all the places. But today is looking like smooth sailing because it's gonna melt. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I also agree. For packing, especially if you still have to pack for children, and sometimes I have to pack for my husband too. Yeah, it's a lot. And so I agree, 7 days. Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness, Deborah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can stop complaining because we really haven't even had, I think we might be behind. Now, typically here, our snowiest months are March and April. Wow, 103 inches. Okay, Shannon, where are you? Because I can't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, so you get snowed in. You feel my pain, huh? I just feel so bad for the bus drivers because it's bad. It really is. And the kids have gotten stuck before, and they do pull out the chains and stuff, but it's anyway. The first 5 years we lived here, I think we had snow on Mother's Day all 5 years. Now the spring snows go away really quick. We'll get dumped on with some heavy wet snow. It's not uncommon to get 6 inches or more, but then it is usually gone within a day because the ground is so much warmer, and then it just can't stay. The only big one since we've lived here was spring break a couple years ago. We got, I think, like 24 inches. And it's hard to predict the weather here because of the mountains. It changes everything as the weather moves over it. W in my All About Me book is weather, because I'm a weather junkie. So I think growing up in the Midwest, I was in a tornado area, and we always had thunderstorms. And I had no idea what to expect. I had never been to Colorado when we moved here 9 years ago, and I just assumed snow, right? Because you think Colorado, mountains, skiing. Yeah. So we're at about 5,000 feet elevation. We are pretty close to the base of the mountains. We're not quite foothills, but that does protect us quite a bit from a lot of the bigger snows, just the way it sets up. But the weather here, like, it spins backwards, which is weird. That did happen in Chicago sometimes because of the lake, but it's just very hard to predict it with the models and everything. So I've got a great guy on Facebook that I follow, Cody. He's hilarious, and he nails it pretty much like 95% of the time. Even when our weather apps, like it could be snowing and the weather app hasn't caught up to realize that it's snowing right then. So yes, I love weather. I've always said that if I later, like, retirement age, like I would kind of like to be a storm chaser, because I grew up in I grew up with all of those storms, and that's not to like diminish the damage they do or anything. I'm just fascinated by it, and I think part of it is I'm kind of a control freak, and the weather is something that you have zero control over. So I feel like that's part of my fascination. But here, the shocker for me is that we get hail. Like, we get hail enough that they have to plow it. And it's so damaging. And we'll get, giant hail. We had been in our house 1 year, and then we had a massive hailstorm, lost the roof, it broke the lights, it broke the window frames. I mean, just crazy. And the apartments right by us, nobody had windshields left. And then you couldn't get rental cars because all the rental car lots, all the windshields were gone there too. So that's a weird byproduct of the mountains also, the way when the air comes across. But yeah, it's, I had no idea that would happen. Oh, okay. I've been to the Poconos. Yeah. So we lived in Allentown for a while, and everybody would go to the Poconos, like for, weekend, like especially like a 3-day weekend. Yeah. But yeah, Pennsylvania is such a huge state too. Driving across there, and our mountains here are pretty, but it is nothing like the fall colors that we saw when we lived in Pennsylvania. And then you drive through some of the mountains and just, the colors. We get mostly yellow color here in the fall. Okay, fall, that's my F for All About Me album because that's my favorite season. But in our yard here, we planted 3 red maples, I think, because I miss the color so much from the Midwest and from when we lived in Pennsylvania. And we just don't have it here. Okay, so I'm putting my January paper down. And I'll probably add this chipboard camera because I feel like there's still room to work around it. Okay. Get that piece. So when we lived in Allentown, we were first married. There was no Target. I think the only Target was 30 or 40 minutes away. They had just gotten a Walmart. And we didn't know anyone. Like, we were right out of college, just married, and we went there for my husband's job. Okay, yes, side note, I love Utah. It is so beautiful. And it's because the mountains are right there when you're like, and you get a lot of rain too, which I thought was amazing. I miss just rainstorms so much. Okay, so we lived in Allentown for 3 years. We didn't know a soul when we moved there. And then right after we moved there, September 11th happened. So it really changed everything. We were right out of college. We thought that we would have, these wonderful jobs. And I think all of our friends pretty much lost their job offers. It was a tough time. And I tell my kids now, I'm like, your COVID is kind of our 9/11, because it just changed everything. So anyway, my husband and I, we made the best of it. We did a lot of, I think it was Bieber bus tours. And it was usually us, as like 22-year-olds with a lot of senior citizens. And we went, like, every weekend we would go, because when you're in Pennsylvania, you have access to everything. You're so close. So we, of course, did Hershey. We did Gettysburg. We did all the different sites in Philadelphia. There's so much in Philadelphia. So many different tours and things to see. New York City was very tough because after 9/11, so many things were protected, or, we could see the Statue of Liberty, but we couldn't even really get close, because they were just so scared. They didn't know what was going to happen. And Broadway, we would go in a lot for Broadway shows, but even that, it was just kind of eerie for a while when we were doing it. But yeah, I feel like we we took advantage. We made the best of it. Went to the Jersey Shore, and just there was a great King of Prussia Mall. We went to that. Yeah, we just went all over. And then we would drive about 8 hours to Columbus, and we would end up meeting our families like halfway. They could drive it and we could drive it, and then we would see them for a bit, because there for a while flying wasn't ideal after all that happened. Okay, so I've got my February page done, and I'm going to add this little wax seal up here. I'm not going to add this on the daily sticker yet, just because with my photo, I'm not sure what I want to do here on this one, so I'm not going to put it in my second one, my second sample. But I love the wax seals. There's 2 of them, 3. Yeah, note and to you and that. I just love those. Give it a little extra adhesive. So 2 years ago, Lauren, my oldest, she was in 8th grade, and their choir got the chance to perform at Carnegie Hall. And so I volunteered to be a chaperone, and we went to New York City for, I think we were there 4 days, maybe 5 with travel, and really got to explore and show her the city and go see a Broadway show. Just do all the fun stuff. Okay, I'm going to open this up now. Can you guys give me an update? Like, are you keeping up? Am I going too fast? Obviously my papers are cut, so it's pretty quick putting it in, but just somebody give me an idea of where you're at. Oh yes, Lancaster. Yeah, Hershey was our absolute favorite. I mean, we would go there at Christmas. We would go there in the summer when my family would visit. My brother's 9 years younger than I am, so we took him there. And then in Gettysburg, we just stumbled across. We were like, that one, maybe we had a car, I think. Maybe we drove to that one, didn't do a bus tour. But after we did Gettysburg, we were looking for somewhere to eat, and we stumbled across this huge barn-looking building, and it was a Boyd's Bear Museum. I'm not sure if you remember what Boyd's Bear is, but it was kind of cool, and they had a restaurant, and they, all these teddy bears and different things. So there's just a lot of hidden treasures. And then we did Harrisburg, and yeah, just there's a lot in Pennsylvania. Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, to find the pieces. Yeah, that would have been a whole other level of organizing if we had sorted all of our pieces. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to open up the flap here on my original, so then we can do March and April. And the main thing to remember on this one is that we're making it a pocket, so just don't put adhesive on the top up here, okay? Otherwise, I feel like it's really straightforward. That'll go together quick because it's big pieces too. So part of our New York trip, obviously they performed, and one day they got to learn techniques from like a Broadway cast. And then we went to the Broadway show Come From Away, which is about 9/11. And then we did the Statue of Liberty, Central Park. What did we do? I feel like, was it the Met? We did a museum. I can't remember. Obviously shopping. The girls were obsessed with the Harry Potter store. There was a BTS store that they went to, I think, every day just to see if the merchandise had changed. They loved the Lego store, FAO Schwartz, the Nintendo store, all of that. And then, I think that's all I need. I think it's just these 4 pieces. And then during the day, while the kids were out practicing, the moms, we would kind of scout out what we needed to grab them for lunch, or figure out the quickest path to walk to something later. And that we were approached by a lady, and she's like, I have tickets, you know, will you come in for the recording of Seth Meyers? And we're like, oh, we wish, but we're chaperones and we can't do that. So then our second to last day, we took the kids to the 9/11 memorial, and I had never been there. It was amazing. We did the, is it like the, I can't think of what it's called, I'm blanking, but where you take the elevator up now and you're looking all around that upper viewing deck. We did not have tickets for the actual 9/11 museum, which I think would have helped, because what I realized during this trip is that this group of 13 and 14-year-old girls really had no idea what 9/11 was. And that's partly, you know, kind of, I guess, our fault. And also they kept saying, they're like, well, there's no movie, like, because they had all seen Titanic and they had seen Pearl Harbor, and, you know, they're like, well, there's really no movie for us to watch. And we talked a lot about how things had changed at the airport. Well, they have no memory of walking up and greeting someone. They have no memory of not having to take your shoes off or practically strip. Yeah, so just, it was very eye-opening to me that, like, wow, they don't really know what happened that day and how much it truly changed. You know, for me personally, like, it totally changed the way I looked at the world, and even, you know, how people came together, and, you know, just the pride and everyone had a flag, and just, you know, just, there was a lot of solidarity. And that's when I had talked to my group of girls. I had 5 girls, and just said to them, you know, your COVID is kind of our 9/11. It'll always be a turning point for you. You'll remember that you didn't get to go to school. You remember, like, you couldn't see your friends, you know, how it changed everything. And that's what and I know other people, like my mom will say, well, for her, it was like when Kennedy was killed, you know where you are. Or like, so in my All About Me book, I put important days in history. And I went back and I went on Pinterest and I printed out a bunch of headlines. And one of them was the Challenger. One of them was baby Jessica. I remember watching that with my mom, that she fell in that hole or that well, and, you know, everyone watching. Oklahoma City. You know, just those big moments that just really have an impact on our lives. But yeah, so for the 9/11 thing, I was shocked. I was really shocked that they had no idea. That's a good idea. Janelle said that she separated out the month pieces. Yeah, that's a good idea. And I could have paused and done that. Sorry. It's a little bit of brain fog at this point. Hoping my voice holds till the end of the day. Bingo. Bingo, we already decided, because we can't get the captions to work, that I'm going to use like a whiteboard today just so people can see it. And then we've got all these backup plans after our technical glitches yesterday. I'm so sorry. Okay, so I assembled this one with the pocket flat on the page, just partly because I was talking. And then same thing with this one. I assembled these, flat on my surface here, and now I'm going to adhere it. But that way I've got my pocket. These 2 pieces are from the journal pack, the journal tabs pack. I did the Post-its, and then this Rolodex card. Totally up to you. We have plenty of pieces left. And then for the April one, I added this little alarm clock. So the nice part about our New York trip was we had the most amazing guide. His name was Boston Bob. He had the thickest Boston accent. And then our bus driver, Dan the man was our bus driver. I don't know how he navigated the city over and over and over again with that bus and all these girls who are singing and screaming and everything else, but he did. So after we went to the 9/11 memorial that day. That night on the bus, we were stuck in traffic, just not moving at all. And everybody's tired and frustrated. And I had the girls watch the song by Alan Jackson, the Where Were You When the World Stopped Turning? Because I felt like that one kind of just captured what everyone was feeling at that time. So I put on the video on YouTube, you know, and they all sat in the back together, and, you know, they've all got their phones and their devices, and they all watched it just to give them a little frame of reference. But my whole point is, that's why we do this. That's why we document all of this. That's why we put together, you know, our history book of our life and ourselves, because someday I want my kids to know who I was growing up and who I am now. And if I haven't prepared them and told them that, I want them to know. And I think my conviction has strengthened. I think if you go through like a major family tragedy, or you lose someone unexpectedly, and then you just have that need to have it documented, right? Like you realize too late. And so I feel like being able to tell our own stories and those pivotal moments that impacted us is just so important. All right, getting all my tape down here. Okay, I'll just slide this here for a second. I can stick it down. So I decided a long time ago, I feel like as scrapbookers, we all have a plan, right? We all have like, well, I'm making this for this child, or this for a grandchild, or this for a friend, you know, and we kind of have a system. Or some people, I've been to events, and my good friend Irene has done this too. Like sometimes she makes 4 of the same layout, so then it's 1 for each kid. But I feel like we all have our own little plan of how we're going to document and manage. And so I decided a long time ago that my scrapbooking is for me. It is my therapy. It is truly what, you know, keeps me going. I absolutely love it. I love sharing what I do, but I truly do it for me. Someday when I'm gone, my kids can enjoy their books, all the books that I've made, or they can have a big bonfire. And I know that sounds horrible to say, but the good already has come from it because I have documented things. It's my therapy. I've gotten to relive the good moments. And yeah, so I do for my kids, they each have 2 albums. So they have 1 album that's a big We Are Memory Keepers binder, and it's their first year. And for the most part, for each kiddo, I had them finished while I was pregnant, partly because I was on bed rest for months. So it's amazing what you can figure out to do from laying down in bed or at the couch when you're just stuck there. So they have their first year album. And then their other album, I stole this from Stacy Julian. It's called School of Life, but I've kind of just made it my own thing. So every single year, they have 1 page that is life events, like their birthday, a Christmas photo, a family photo, maybe a vacation. And then the other page is school for that year. I've been very diligent about, especially when they're younger, I photograph the stuff, all the papers, and I toss it. And so that other page will have like, you know, their first day of school picture, anything, activities, anything for the school year, maybe photos of awards or projects they did. It's gotten harder as the years go on because when you get to middle school and high school, there's no more papers. There's no more stuff that makes it, and I'm not invited into the classroom, you know, to make it easy to document. I've got January and February and March and April glued down. So I'm going to flip this open. And then we will do May and June. Okay. Make sure we are good on time. I'll start looking for pieces. So that's just kind of my system. I have over the years, like, used the Project Life app to make digital pages and just kind of document our everyday. So I'll do like a spread for the month, and it's just those just random everyday photos that I'm not going to scrapbook, or, you know, sometimes I take like screenshots of a news event or something. I remember when Queen Elizabeth passed away, I made like a whole spread in a Project Life digital page, and then I print that book at the end of the year, and my kids just like to look through those. They're not masterpieces, they're just kind of an everyday life thing that shows what we did together. Okay, I think I missed a piece. All right, so I've got my piece for June. This one is the paper clips paper, unless you went in and changed it to the paper with the letters. I've got May, but I missed that thumbtack paper, so I've got to go back and see. I definitely want to get to our next page just so we can talk through those little pockets. Here it is. Okay. And then from the chipboard, I'm going to need the typewriter. And then this roller stamp, that's a sticker. Okay, so I know Erica was asking this yesterday. If you're watching the game today, what is your go-to snack or food you're going to have? We typically do appetizers. I know that my girls love, you know, like pizza bites and mozzarella sticks, all that kind of stuff for the air fryer or the oven. And I have some spinach dip. And then we have leftover chili from Costco, which was so good. And so I think I'm gonna make like chili cheese nachos or chili cheese fries with what's left of it. Oh yeah, you can't beat chips and salsa, right? I feel like chips and salsa is such a good comfort food. Plus, sometimes I feel like, especially at a restaurant, we have the best conversations over chips and salsa, you know? But yeah, I love that. The other thing we've had this weekend that we indulged on, because we've just been doing kind of finger foods as we race back and forth, trying to get everybody shopping and, you know, just everything coordinated from just behind the scenes stuff. We got deviled eggs. We had a deviled egg tray this weekend. We had those pinwheel, like rolled up sandwiches from Costco. And then we did the chili yesterday. I have chicken noodle soup today. What else? We did like a cheese, grapes, and meat tray. And then there's one more in the fridge. What is it? We did mix together a salad. I mean, we've eaten well, that's for sure. And then of course, after all the talk about cake, we had to order the Cracker Barrel and try the cake and those beignets, which were really, really good. Speaking of which, did you all eat your cake? Did everybody have their cake in their mug? My kids have wanted that because we had a few extras down here just in case. You never know. I always worry a box is going to get lost or damaged, or, you know, you just don't know. So I've had extras of everything, backups, and now tonight it's free reign. They can take what they want. Natalie's gonna take some to her sweet little niece and nephew so they can have a little birthday pack. But they've been wanting those mug treats. Turkey, chili, and cornbread. Yes, we had cornbread last night with our chili. So good. What? That is amazing. Oh, she made 9 of the cookbooks. That is amazing. So I made a cookbook for myself and for my sister of all family recipes, you know, like from my grandma and, you know, just, and it's all, we're from the Midwest, so it's a lot of like Jell-O salads and desserts and things that really aren't a salad, but we called it that. But that is incredible. What an amazing gift. Oh my goodness. Which paper collection was it that you used, or did you do all different ones for all 9? Is it Angie? We like hockey too. And honestly, like, we're watching today more for the commercials and stuff. We are Bears fans. We're Chicago Bears fans. I don't know when the last time was Chicago Bears actually had a great team or made it to the Super Bowl, but some ways it takes the pressure off so we can just enjoy today and yeah, root for, who is it, Usher, and then the commercials and all that. I feel like we kind of lose interest after halftime because then they start they rerun the same commercials at that point, and you know, it depends. Maybe it'll be an exciting game. I don't know. It's 2 really good teams. You know, the weather's supposed to be great, so maybe it will surprise us, but if it's kind of a blowout on either side, then yeah, we lose interest. No Cracker Barrel in Alaska, Deborah? We don't go there very often, that's for sure. But we have done it a couple times where we've done like their catering. Like you can get their pancakes and eggs and all that, like a whole feast. And we've done that before. And I've also ordered their sides like for Thanksgiving and just pick them up and warm them up, put them in my own dish, right? So it looks like I can take the credit for making it. Okay, so I have my June paper all done. Go ahead and put the title on it and the typewriter. Oh, she did. Oh, I feel like people have been figuring out if Taylor was gonna make it. I mean, this has been talked about like for months, the whole season. Like, okay, if they go to the Super Bowl and she has this concert, like everybody's got her back, you know, that they're making sure she's there. Well, good for her. I'm glad she's there, and hopefully she can enjoy herself. Yeah, because that's a pretty significant, she went from, I think she was in Tokyo and then had to fly to Vegas, and then I think she's got to fly right back out. I feel like she has another concert right after that. My girls are excited because the concert that was at the movie theater will be on Disney Plus in March, and so they're excited to be able to watch it again. But we did go see it in the theater. We took some of Lauren's dance friends, and then Maddie, my middle one, would not go. She was very anti-Taylor, but then my youngest wanted to go. So I think I'm just getting old, but it was like the best way to watch a concert because you had a comfy seat. We were even in the recliner seats in the movie theater. We had great food the whole time, clean bathrooms. There was no, crazy parking lot or anything after the concert. You didn't leave smelling like smoke or marijuana or whatever that a lot of times at concerts that you do. So it was great. I liked going and seeing it on the big screen. I hope they do it with more of the singers, just because it's so hard to get concert tickets. We tried, my oldest wanted to go to Olivia Rodrigo, and that was just as much of a nightmare as Taylor Swift trying to get tickets. So it's like, sorry. And I don't want to pay thousands of dollars for a ticket. It just kind of takes the fun out of it. So the movie theater aspect is great because then you go, enjoy, and you can even go see it again. All right. Okay, so I've got my background pieced here for May. I wanted the book to come together not looking like it's just scrap pieces, because, you know, like that, some of these, yeah, that's what it, you know, I designed it all and then I'm fitting puzzle pieces back together, making sure that we could make this project. Luckily, all the papers are so cohesive and just happy. Okay, so then I'm gonna add this roller stamp sticker down here by the word May. Right? So much cheaper, yes. And then we can splurge on popcorn or whatever else at the movie theater. Our movie theater now, they even have hot food, you know, that they bring to you, like pizza, mozzarella sticks, fries. Like they have a whole menu, and they have drinks. They give people wristbands, and so it's more like a restaurant, I feel. And then you've got the recliner too. And people did stand up and sing, but not in the beginning. People were pretty much sitting, eating in the beginning. The middle part got a little bit longer because my girls didn't know all the songs. And then by the end, people were up in the crowd, you know, and it was just fun. Okay, so we've got our May, June. No, thanks, Erica. So our next one, this was one I wanted to make sure that we got to before we have to call it for lunch, but we're doing okay on time. So this was where I said I don't want to use the photo play ones because it was just too bulky here. I want to just make the pockets with what we have cut, okay? So this is a big spread. All right, and I'm gonna start finding the pieces for it. Got September. And August. Should be getting a little easier to find the pieces because we're getting down to halfway, right? July. Gonna need the notebook paper. This amazing, noteworthy paper that with the fabric that also matches. August, September. And then our file folders over here, it should be 3 pieces because we fussy cut those ahead of time. Okay, I think I have everything. All right. I'm gonna do just this file folder one first because then everything else is really straightforward. And I think at this point we've done the same technique over and over, but I'm going to ink these. And I guess you could decide on this one, if you wanted it to be a much larger piece or insert, you wouldn't even have to put adhesive on the bottom. You could just put adhesive on the sides because we're making it sort of like a stair step as we adhere these. Okay, so this larger piece is what we're going to glue on first. And this one, just add adhesive. We don't have to do anything special or worry about a pocket with it. Okay, so I'm gonna line this one up pretty close to the top because this is a fold out piece, so it's not as wide as our 5x7 ones, but we cut this one really tight. Okay, so I've got it pretty much all the way up at the top, and then it will fold in like that. Now, our other two pieces, I think I buried them, hold on. I know I have them. Not there. Oh, here they are. Okay, I know I have them in my hand and I inked them. So we will make both of these a pocket. What I was saying before is if you have this one, you want to seal the bottom of it and the two sides. But this one, if you want to be able to let a larger photo or note card or something in there, then you could just put adhesive on the sides and let something slip all the way down. Now, if it's going to be something tiny, it could be lost in the abyss down there. So when I use just these, that's better to have it stop right here. Same thing down here. And these are just journal pieces. But if you have in mind already that, oh, I'm going to put a photo, whatever. The main thing is watch that you don't have any gaps because we've cut this apart. We didn't take any of the paper away, but you don't want to see that white coming through. So I'm going to leave mine open because maybe I'll tuck like a library card or something in there. So I'm only going to put it on either side. Oh, thank you, Michelle. So, yes and no. The retreat is once a year because it's a lot of work and it's gotten bigger, which is great. The other places where I will be, I'll be in Illinois in May. And then sometimes I do, Erica's online, when she does her online crops, I will teach at those. And then, I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I love designing kits, but I love teaching more. So I'm hoping that more opportunities will present themselves. But I'll keep you updated. And I feel like, I've really only launched just on my own the last 2 years. And it grew bigger and faster than I expected. So my goal this year is to try to get my YouTube channel up and going and be able to do more things where I'm posting videos and showing you. And then maybe that leads to on a Saturday that you purchase a class kit and we can do it. So I don't know. Thank you so much for your kindness though. I appreciate it, Michelle. And I'll keep you updated. Please follow me, on Instagram or Facebook, because I'll try to keep everyone in the know. It's just right now it's a very fine balance, and all four of us instructors have this, but I'm a mom and a wife first, and time is going really fast, and we're going to be looking at colleges for my daughter. So I'm trying to balance being able to still do all that stuff with my kids and be able to do this, which I love. So I'll get there. It's just, as women, we have to try to do it all, have it all, but yet we can't. Yeah, it's that whole Barbie speech, right, that America Ferrera did. So yeah, I have big plans and goals in my head of things I would love to do, but I'll keep you updated. Thank you. It's truly, I start planning next month. It's about 11 months out. And in the beginning, the planning is really just watching the releases for the year from the different companies. When I have ideas, I keep a note in my phone all the time. And it just sort of, it starts to come together. And I love being able to do all the special touches and make things a little more personalized. And that's why we're not going to go any bigger than than what we are, because I don't want to lose that. And I, you know, it's very flattering that we have so many people who want to see all 4 of us teach. But at the same time, I don't want to lose the feeling that we know all your names. Seriously, like, we have all your names memorized. I don't know where everyone lives, but you know, you all have a little name tag on the tables out there. We've got your, you know, your prizes, we've got sales sheets, we've got a lot of, you know, love and time does go into it, but it's enjoyable. It's exhausting. I will definitely crash hard this week. But it's also very fun because I like the details and I love a good theme. So that's why choosing this one, like, I really would like to do a Valentine's Day theme for our next one. Just don't panic that it's Valentine's Day projects, because as a business owner, Valentine's Day does not sell well. I can tell you that right now. And we're having it, you know, February 7th through the 9th. So by then, yeah, I guess you could make cards if you were giving them to someone, but you're not going to have time to mail any by then either. So we'll see. It's going to be projects we love and products we love, not necessarily Valentine's Day, but I'm excited for it. All right, I'm getting all the tape here off of my July paper. Oh yeah, Michelle, you have a senior. Oh, senior year is so big. There's so many things, and with my daughter still doing competitive dance, I mean, she's a sophomore right now, but with her doing competitive dance, doing show choir, it's just a lot, you know, and it goes so fast. Okay. Thank you, Tracy. All right, Janelle, yes, and I was even going to mention that. So shopping is next. That's why I'm kind of watching the time, because today was fast turnaround where I had to go from the welcome to the class to the shopping. So it's going to take us a minute just to get it laid out. If there's anything from there that you still want, like the adhesive, the ink, any of that, yes, I will check that album. I just ask that you have it done by tonight at midnight. I will go back through that album tomorrow, and I'll start invoicing people as soon as Tuesday, probably. I just want to give myself tomorrow a little bit of space to clean up a little bit and prepare for the week with my kids and everything. And then, invoicing will start. And I have, so Natalie, I told Natalie graduated in December, which was so hard because she's become such a part of our family, but she graduated from CSU. And then I just recently, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I hired my friend Ashley, and we've known each other through our mom's group for a long, long time. She is not crafty at all, but in 2 weeks, I cannot believe what she has learned and helped with. And I kind of gave her a little disclaimer. I'm like, these next 2 weeks aren't even normal because we're just retreat. But she will be helping me. And Gail and Natalie have already double and triple checked things. And I know people were asking, did I get this item? Did I get something? Unless we have commented sold out, yes, you got the item, okay? So we really didn't have anything that was truly limited other than clearance and my kits. Everything else I had been checking all of my accounts to make sure that I could still get things. The only one that I need to double check where we're at with numbers is the Doodlebug Snow one, the Snow Much Fun, and I'm not sure where we're at with it, but I'll look again. But that seems to be sold out everywhere. And I'm not sure if, maybe because it's been a rough winter, everybody's buying the cute snow paper. So that one I do need to double check on, but we have tried to keep up with the sales and checking it. And it's truly, the communication part is a lot, because I've been getting messages, I've been getting texts, I've been getting emails, and I've been getting Facebook messages. And some of them go to Lindsay Wall and some of them go to Lindsay's layouts. And so we're keeping lots of Post-its. And when you get your invoice, just go over it with, with your eyes. And if we miss something, let us know, and we'll get it corrected right away. It's quite a process, but it works. And we've got a really good start on the shopping that's happened so far. So I feel pretty good about going into this week and where we're at. Oh, she does cheer. Yep. Yeah. See, and my daughter, so Lauren she's in competitive dance, and it's very much like there's no leeway. If you miss the week of a competition, if you miss dance because you have COVID, she wants you there if you have 103 fever, basically. And Lauren definitely wants to do dance next year, junior year, because they go to nationals. But she's talking about not doing dance her senior year, just because there are so many fun things that happen senior year. Aside from just prom and, different things like that she might have to sacrifice dance, because with dance, it's a no tolerance policy on a lot of it. And she had COVID in October, and the dance instructor said to me, either you contact every mom and get this rehearsal rescheduled so that everyone can make it, or she comes sick. And that was it. Or we're done, like that. So that's been tough. And I feel like it limits them in what they can do at school. And Lauren has loved doing show choir at school, and she's going to have to choose. That's the hard part, is like, I feel like when I was, here's another all about me. When I was a teen, when I was in high school, my letter N was need to do it all. I was at a very tiny school in the Midwest, farm town. I only had 56 kids in my graduating class, but I did everything, probably because they needed us. They didn't have enough people. But I did student council, I did choir, I did yearbook, I did volleyball, I did track, and you could. Whereas now with our kids, it's like you pick a career sport. And we've said all along that dance is for fun and exercise, but it's never going to be her career, right? We know that very few make it. It's just the way that the world has changed, I guess, and the pressure. And I'm not a fan, but I guess we've got to go with it. Oh, wow, Janelle, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm struggling. So we made her, so she also is on point, but you don't do point competitive. Well, very rarely do you see it. So I did a shadow box of her first point shoes and her photos for her fitting and all of that. And then, I've struggled what to do to document her dance. Okay, so you did it. Okay, you did a digital photo album that's a very good idea. I need to think about it. I've been keeping it all pretty much organized, in a digital file of photos and everything, but yeah, and I feel like at every competition, they come home with a pin or a ribbon, well, times 12, right? However many dances they do, or the trophies, or, all this. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much stuff. But again, I try to photograph it, and then, that way if it ends up donated or trashed later on, it's okay. We've got the photo of it, we've got the memory, but that's very cool. So your daughter, wow, she started at age 3. That's about when Lauren started. She was 3, but it was more just cutesy. We didn't do competitive until last year, her freshman year. And the reason that she waited, she was going to do it in middle school, but then, COVID, surprise. So that kind of put halt on everything. Then the next year, her 8th grade year, she had the opportunity to go to Carnegie Hall with choir and go to Costa Rica with her leadership class. And if she did either of those while with dance, she'd be kicked off the team. So we opted that year, no competitive, we'll wait it out. Did it hurt her placement wise? Probably. But again, we know she's not going to be, it's not going to be her lifelong career. But she got to go on those 2 amazing life-changing trips, and I don't think I'd go back and change that for anything. So I think it's sacrifices. She's loving competition season right now. We have next weekend off, which is great because so many people travel during President's Day. And then we have our next competition. I think it's Showstopper. It's very Vegas-y, like even the judges are very Vegas-y. I feel like the names are always kind of trashy. We've got Showstopper and Thunderstruck and 24/7, Nuvo, not the glue or the drops, it's the dance. Okay, so while I was talking, I nailed down here July, August, and September, and I'm going to find, oh, cool, okay. Oh, Janelle, I would love to see that. If you could post it, I would love it. Yeah, I think digital is the way to go for the sports because there's just so much, and there's so much growth, even dance to dance, competition to competition, there's just a lot of things. That's great. Okay, so I grew up in a town called Athens, not Athens, Athens, Illinois. We were just north of Springfield. So my parents still live there. They actually live in Sherman now, which is right outside of Springfield. So we were 30 minutes from the mall, the hospital. Let me just tell you, when we got a Casey's gas station, it was life-changing. The closest stoplight was 15 minutes away. And I joke that I grew up with Abraham Lincoln at every event because, some people have clowns or, celebrities. We had Abraham Lincoln people dressed up at everything. I mean, every parade, every party, because we lived, New Salem is in Petersburg, we went there every summer. That's where Abraham Lincoln, that he was there in the cabins, and that's where he had the Barry Lincoln, his failed little mini version of Walmart. And then later I worked at the Illinois State Museum. So yeah, I'm now living here in Colorado. I am the parent that always gets asked to do the Lincoln presentations. And I have a ton of memorabilia and other things. And my friend Paige, who is not Paige Evans, but different Paige, my friend Paige is an organizer, and she decluttered a house recently, and they found all of these Lincoln, picture, very old, very, not to the 1800s or, but very old. And so they brought it all to me. I'm like, okay, I'll add it to my collection. So yeah, I am like the expert on all things Abraham Lincoln. Usually I know more than the teachers here, but that's just because I lived and breathed it. Yeah, very tiny farm town. Oh, okay. Washington. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. See, small world. Yeah. I think at the time Athens was maybe 1,200 people. Maybe. I know. So I went to college at the University of Illinois, and my first lecture hall, I believe, was larger than my town. First gigantic psychology class or whatever. So yeah, it's, and it was, my grandma and grandpa lived next door. My aunt lived 2 doors down from that. Everyone else on the street was related to each other. Yeah, so it's, I definitely have the small town upbringing, and we spent a lot of time at the church because that's really all that we had. And I had a lot of potlucks and a lot of, I bring things to meals here and say it's a salad, and they're like, this is not a salad. And I said, well, in the Midwest, this is a salad. I miss sweet corn. Oh my goodness. The first year we moved here, my father-in-law overnighted us sweet corn, which is very tough to do because you don't want moisture and mold and all this other stuff. But during corn, sweet corn season, oh my goodness, we would eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, so I'm gonna get my chipboard, these envelopes here, and then I did the Rolodex while I was talking, and then the stapler and the staple remover. I'm gonna add those pieces. Yeah, so I worked at the Illinois State Museum in high school and in college, and then we would work at the Illinois State Fair in the summer, and I was in the booth next to the skunk races. They didn't smell. The skunk races, we had the lumberjacks right by us, and then, the kettle corn people. Oh my goodness. Yes, they would make the kettle corn, and it's just like your mouth starts watering as soon as they do it in that giant cauldron, and oh, so good. Anytime they do another batch, people would just be lined up like crazy. So in my booth, we made dog tags. We had this very ancient machine, like a typewriter. I would type on it, and then it would punch every single letter on the dog tag. Yeah, and so a lot of those things, when I did my All About Me album, I used Google Images and Pinterest and grabbed photos of the buildings and different, all the Lincoln stuff. I put that in my book. Just so that my kids know someday, because my youngest doesn't even remember that she was born in Illinois, but we moved when she was 9 months old. Okay, so I'm taking this envelope from the sticker page, and then I'm gonna layer it with this stack of them. Show you with the fold here. Okay. All right. So I've got that all. Okay. I did all these embellishments. All right. Can someone remind me? I'm looking for my schedule here and I don't have it. Do I have shopping and prizes at noon or at 12:15? Hold on. I can probably find. Where is that? I had 3 brochures sitting here for that reason, and then I cleaned up. This is why you don't clean, right? You just leave it all a beautiful mess until the weekend is over. Okay, 12. Thank you. All right. I knew today's quick because we're trying to squeeze it all in and still watch the Super Bowl, right? So I think I am going to stop here. We made it to September. I feel like this is probably the most complicated piece. I mean, you built the folio. That was the most complicated part, but this was the most complex piece here with the file folders. Everything else, if you have it pre-cut, it just goes in very quickly. My instructions do have all the photos. So what's left is October, again, a pocket, and I slipped some of the journal cards in. November, very simple, 2 chipboard pieces. And then December, I don't know, I just feel like we take, more photos in December. So maybe you want your December over here and use this as just another fun page. Totally up to you. This is journal pack, sticker, and chipboard. And then you have 1 sticker up here. And then your final page is very simple. You have both of these pieces cut. They just get adhered on there. And then we have sticker, sticker, and then this was that remaining piece from our page pieces, okay, that I put right there. And then we did our cover earlier. And you have a ton of cute ribbon still that I'm probably going to add a little loop of ribbon there for my finished book. I would love in the future, as you start adding things to this, you know, like if it's for your nephew, if it's for your, you know, your dog, I would love to see what you come up with. This was really fun for me to design and do, and I hope that it kind of takes a little bit of the fear away from the folios. If you know, just joined us and you didn't get to build the book, go to the YouTube link too. Those are helpful. And if you buy any of the photo play stuff, I highly recommend it, because then you can pause and go back and forth. It just makes it so much easier. And I'm a very visual person, and I feel like their instructions aren't the best. So having the videos is great. Oh, thank you. Let me go back. Whoops. So December, thank you, Tracy. December on the fold out is going to be the smaller than the main December page, right? Because we said our fold out pieces are all the 4.75, and then these are the 5x7. So thank you, very good call. And I think the rest, that was the only one. Yep, because we finished up to there. Yeah, okay. Great, oh, thank you so much. Thank you all, ladies. Okay, I am going to get our shopping set up, and I will see you hopefully in about 7 minutes, okay? All right, thanks, ladies.